There's a Sufi master who writes this: God breaks the heart again and again and again until it stays open, which is kind of what we do for a living here. You know, you allow your heart to be broken and so that it can stay open. So you've chosen, you've decided, not once and for all, but to walk through these doors every day. It's a decision. And so we recognize that we live in a wounded and a wounding world. And so God is rooting for us to become a reservoir of joy. That's why you keep your heart open, so that you can decide and choose again and again. And part of what we do here, we're all students in the art of creating happiness and joy with each other. And we vow and we choose and we decide to touch joy in every moment that we experience, and we choose to bring that joy to each other. But we recognize that we're always transcending and transforming from obstacles that are plentiful. I remember years ago, I was driving three homies to Jack in the Box, and we were at a red light at First and Soto, and there was some commotion there, and there was a big flatbed truck with a bunch of homies and homegirls, veteranos, with megaphones and yelling about Jesus. And somebody ran over to the front seat and handed a brochure to this homie named Rusty, who was sitting there. And then we started to drive to Jack in the Box, and he was reading with some labor the brochure. Is your marriage failing? Are you hooked on drugs? Do you gangbang? Are you depressed? Are you addicted to alcohol? And then he puts the brochure down, he goes, damn, gee, 3 out of 5. And yeah, so we're weighed down by a lot of things, but the fact that you choose and decide to step through those doors every day, it wasn't just the first day, it's every day that you choose and you decide. I remember years ago I was at Central Juvenile Hall saying Mass, and I was, finished Mass, and I was processing out to the song, and I see this homie named Julio, and he's waving like a crazy person, and he's going, I'm in KL, come see me. And well, he was a homie I knew, not from the streets, but from being locked up endlessly. Sylmar, Central, a bunch of camps, Dorothy Kirby Center, always locked up. So I go to his unit, KL, and we sit in the day room, just the two of us talking for some time, and I'm thinking, wow, what a knucklehead. He's just every time getting locked up. And finally I looked at my watch and said, I gotta go, I have to go to the cemetery, and we're doing a memorial service for this homie who was killed. And he stays seated, and I stand, and he goes, hey, G, can I ask you a question? How many homies have you buried? This is an old story, so it was like 75. Who were killed because of gang violence. If he had asked me today, it would be 261. And he goes, damn, 75. And then he says, when will it end? And I grabbed his hand and I pulled him out of the chair and I said, mijito de mi cora, it will end the minute you decide. And I was surprised that his eyes filled up with tears. And he says, well then, I decide. I said, son, it's always been as simple as that. We live in a world that wounds, and we're all wounded, and yet God is breaking our heart again and again and again so that it stays open, so that you can become anthems of resilience, and you can become reservoirs of joy, and you can become communicators of that joy to each other. And that's why you decide and choose to walk through this door every day. Congratulations.